So we'll stick with the long form here. And the last few years over COVID, we all had to become a little computer savvy, wouldn't you say? We had to get used to some computer terms, which is why I feel like I can give a talk to you now on this with you understanding things more than you might have maybe 6 years ago. And yet, the disclaimer is, you probably shouldn't use most of the following tips as actual computer advice. In fact, are there any IT people here in the room? Oh, good. So except the ones we are paying, and I hope Reverend Kathy's not here, because you're all going to cringe a little bit. And so that's why we're going to take this as a metaphor, using these terms to upgrade our consciousness through technological terms. Now, in order to upgrade, we must first become familiar with some of the computer basics. And the first one, like the keyboard, but I think they are important in the sense that they're keys to the universe. I literally found inspiration for this talk at my fingertips. And hopefully you'll take some of this stuff to use as you go throughout your day thinking, oh yeah, that's not really what I use it for, but spiritually I'll use it for. The first and initially most important one, though not directly attached to the keyboard, is the power button. For me, it's turning on my recognition that there is a greater source of power that I can choose to connect with and recognize that it's there and available for me. It can also be our first step of treatment, for those of you who know. We recognize or say, there is one power greater than I, and I'm connected with that power. We can consciously acknowledge this embodiment. When I think of the power, I also think that this is the same source that keeps the planet spinning in orbit, that keeps blood pumping through our bodies, and keeps the air that we talked about in meditation breathing through our lungs. So imagine, if you can, we couldn't do that on our own. We'd be dropping like flies if we had to remember to pump our heart. The next key that is pretty important is this shift key right up there. And I like the fact that it has an arrow pointing up on it. And so the shift up key shows that sometimes when we get down or depressed, we need to shift our vantage point to a slightly higher view, an elevated perspective. Ernest Holmes once wrote, quote, "Your thought operates independently of conditions and has the possibility of transcending circumstances as they are now, causing new ones to be created," end quote. So briefly, our thoughts can rise above the conditions we are seeing. So we can't get caught up in just what's materialized. Quantum physics, something that Reverend Connie so beautifully delved into a few weeks ago, shows that with our focus and attention, we can change the activity and behavior of this field of particles around us. We can actually influence the energy to change our conditions. Think for a moment about being stuck in traffic. Maybe you pull over, you turn on your little MapQuest computer, and you are shown a new route. It takes you above the congestion, and you're able to see more clearly. You get more options, and you realize there are more turns that you could make to get you out of the jam. Sometimes what we call our problems can keep us stuck if we just look at them from human form. Perhaps you lost a job, or something happened in your life that really disturbed you. But if you shift your perspective from that basic human view, you see other options that might not have been conveyed before. Maybe you realize that you have a new skill set that you never focused on before, and it brings you out and allows you to express something that you didn't think you had. The universe has a far more expansive satellite view than we could ever have. Now, let's look at the next key. It's the control key. It's just an illusion, so you might as well ignore it anyway. unless you remember to tie it with Control, Alt, and Delete. And the idea behind that is, as you try and get control, which you really can't, you must hit the Alt key or change the way you're looking at it and delete the idea that you had control in the first place. The only real control you have is how you respond to things. Maybe it's a health challenge that you didn't see coming. I know years ago when I was diagnosed with cancer, I was totally thrown off center. I thought, I don't have time to be sick, and I didn't know why I had kind of co-created that. I kept on hitting the control key thinking that would fix things. Finally, I realized that I needed to press Alt or change the way I was viewing this and delete the story that I was telling myself that I was going to quickly die and not have a chance to pursue any of my dreams. Delete is a very powerful key. It helps us delete the negative, fear-based stories that we're making up. We're then free to focus on controlling the only thing we can, which are responses to it, and then we can create a new story where we're the hero and not the victim in our life. I really needed to focus on the future and visualize what I wanted to see. I needed to experience things that were exciting me, and I needed to put more energy into affirming my health than fearing my death. A few other keys that I need to tell you about. All these top keys, they're the F keys, and basically they're there just to release frustration. As you can hit them repeatedly, I'm sure they probably have some other meaning, not aware of it. Like on the EF scale for tornadoes, that only goes to 4. Here you can go all the way to 12, and I'm pretty sure that key must release a whole lot of frustration in a big crisis. Oh, we also have the escape key right up here. Now, the escape key is kind of a mixed blessing. Have you heard the saying, wherever you go, there you are also? Ever want to run away, or like that Southwest commercial, ever want to get away for a while? But then you realize that you brought you with you on the journey. You packed all the same frustrations and anxieties that you thought you had left behind. A Zen master was walking down the road when a stranger approached him from the other direction. The stranger told the master he wanted to move to a new town and wondered what the town was like that the master was walking from. The master replied, "Well, what was the town like that you just came from?" The stranger quickly responded, "Oh, it was terrible. There were impatient, angry people, and nobody seemed to care about their neighbors." "Oh," said the master, "that's what this town is like." The stranger looked sad as he continued on toward his abysmal life. The Zen master walked on further when a second man came up and inquired to the wise man, "Excuse me, sir, but what is the town like that you're coming from?" "I'm looking for a place to live." The master once again replied, "Well, what was the town like that you just came from?" The man said, "Oh, it was the best town ever. People were loving and helpful, and people cared about each other." "Well then, that's what this town is like," responded the master. It's okay to escape and get away from certain situations as long as you remember that you're taking yourself on the journey. The best way to use the escape key is perhaps to get away from people who are talking negatively or projecting their fears and limitations on you. Or perhaps you're watching way too many depressing news stories, and it's good to get out of those toxic situations. The next key is a big one. I mean, literally, it's the space bar right here. And we need to use this to give ourselves space to do tasks clearly and with mindfulness. If you're multitasking, you're really not leaving space for that to happen. Like, think about it. If we didn't use the space key, all the letters would just run together and would have a big jumbled mess that didn't make any sense. So your actions are not as effective if you're trying to do everything at once. A while back, while cooking several different things, I was, I think, texting, listening to the radio, and trying to set the table at the same time while running late. I quickly grabbed a butcher knife to do the job that a small little paring knife required. It was the only clean one, I think, and there was blood. I slit my thumb pretty deeply. And so while trying to get blood, keep blood off my clothes and out of the food, within seconds, I realized that whatever was cooking in the frying pan was probably history, and I'm glad I couldn't see what the oven was looking like. I don't think I'll ever be invited on that Top Chef show. But not allowing space and mindfulness between my activities, it ended up costing me a lot of pain. Now, I know I'm not the only one, so think for yourselves of a time that perhaps you were trying to juggle too many things. Did it actually save you time? Probably not. So give yourself the space key to be deliberate and effective in your life. It's also the space between our thoughts where Spirit speaks to us more clearly. When we meditate, we can put that monkey mind on hold, give it a time out, and just be open to the messages we're getting. Fortunately, this next key, the backspace key, doesn't work in real life. Unless you quickly say, I take that back right after you said whatever offended the person and hope that they accept your apology. Trying to use the backspace key hints at regret. Neville Goddard, a metaphysician, writes in Feeling is a Secret, quote, "Do not waste one moment in regret. For to think feelingly of the mistakes of the past is to reinfect yourself." That's a pretty powerful statement when you think of reinfecting yourself with your own thoughts. It's dragging you back. You also might not understand how all those events were perfectly designed to give you that spiritual muscle and strength to get you through whatever you're going through today. Okay, now that we've covered the main keys, we're ready to officially begin the upgrade. Unlike in real life, we don't need to first connect with the internet. Anybody know why? You're a pretty enlightened group. Bingo, yes. We've always been connected and always will be. Unlike our physical computers, which can actually go off and be disconnected, our spiritual selves are always infused and embodied with this universal internet. On a side note, a few days ago, my internet at home completely broke, went off. In fact, it won't be fixed until I get back home today. And I had to laugh because whenever I do a talk on something, I get real life demonstrations on what it's like. So I had to find a new way to connect to the internet. A neighbor loaned me his hotspot. I still don't know what that is metaphorically, but it's worked. I've been able to tap into the internet. So sometimes we have to do things a little bit differently to communicate in real life, but we're always connected. Perceive it as kind of this energetic net where we are truly present with everything all at once. Our thoughts and actions affect the entire cosmos. And so that idea of being separate, we can't be. And it relates to our theme this year, which is, who knows? Engaging, embracing, embodying the divine. You guys have done your homework. Hey, that would be a great username maybe. And you could have I am as the password. Just a suggestion. I'll keep it a secret. Unlike some of other teachings, there is nothing we need to do to be worthy of our connection. We were born worthy. There is also nothing we can do to break that connection. We are truly an extension of this source energy. So, what allows you to feel connected? Maybe it's listening to music or playing music. Just call out a few things. Where do you feel most connected? Walking in nature. Playing what? With animals. Nice. Looking in the eyes of a newborn baby. That's when I feel this connection. Working in the garden. That's a good one. Singing. Yes. Hearing birds sing at sunrise. Oh, nice. Well, we're all going to be able to do that a little bit more now that we are getting up early. So separation is an illusion, just like the control key. Yet in order to experience this life as an individual being, we get to think we're separate. It's like your toddler running ahead thinking he's doing his own thing, but you're clearly watching over that little being. We're kind of like the wave on the ocean expressing this God stuff, and we wouldn't know the thrill of the surf if we didn't fully commit to the troughs and what are they? The troughs and peaks of the wave. And so we forget how supported we really are because we need to fully explore all the textures of this life. Picture now, if you can, that the hard drive or our subconscious mind is God. Every individual gets to be different in how they express their unique life program. This is how spirit evolves through us and our experiences. It helps us expand, and as we expand, all human consciousness, remember we're connected, rises with us. We can have an impact on something just through our focus on it. And that's why spiritual mind treatment is so valuable. It works as there's no time and space in the atmosphere of God. We're communicating, just like on the internet. I'm impressed when I'm talking to my friends from Thailand. It seems like they're right there, or FaceTiming with them, and it feels like they're right next to me. Spirituality doesn't have to be complicated. You don't need to go to a computer tech or religious tech and tap into your source. You can do this without a middle person, communicating directly on your own. You can also do it sometimes without closing your eyes, although that helps, and without sitting in an uncomfortable position. Although sometimes we're so fully caught up in our human experience that it does help to have a practitioner or a meditation teacher work you through your stuff. However, one mistake we often make is to not specify what we want in life. Our third step of treatment is specification, where it requires us to state what we want to experience in this life. The universe is based on laws of attraction, not laws of repulsion. So we don't go to our Google search engine and type in, I don't want scary stories, yucky food, or negative images. The computer will pick up on a few keywords, scary, negative, and yucky. And just like the computer, the universe is impersonal in this. So like it or not, you will get only information based on those few words, no matter how much you beg, plead, or bargain. Trust me, I experimented with this for you, and I'm still trying to get some of those images out of my mind. So too in our lives, when we rally against something and talk to our friends or neighbors about how bad our life is, what the universe picks up on is stressful, angry thoughts and brings more to be stressed and angry about. On the computer, we create an energetic algorithm, and it sends us more of whatever we're typing in. You've probably all experienced this as well. Even you get ads that relate to whatever you just typed in. Now that is what scientists are discovering with quantum physics. What we focus on, we change. And whether it's a particle becoming a wave or going back into a particle, with our attention and focus, we change it. An example of this is if you're going through your day consciously or unconsciously complaining about how bad the world is, it doesn't matter if you spent part of the morning meditating, the universe will bring you the sum of your prevailing beliefs. The momentum of your thoughts will be manifested as evidence of what you've been focusing on throughout your day. Now, it's good. You don't have to worry about thinking one little thought. That's not what we're talking about. But it's the overall, as I said, momentum of where your thoughts are taking you. That's why, as I listen to the news, I try and balance it out with the kind of world and country that I want to experience. I try and picture a peaceful world, and I envision children of all countries playing together in a happy, healthy way, and people being kind to one another. How do you want your world to look? Think about it for a moment. What are you focusing on for our planet? Now that you have all this background information, you can start to upgrade your consciousness. It can happen in small, slow ways, or really quick, instantaneous ones, and in large ways as well. Maybe you've been upgrading over time as you chose to follow your passion or dream. You get little pop-ups or nudges that say, go here, talk to that person, or do this. You meditate regularly and feel the lightness of your consciousness expanding. Bottom line is, you listen to your inner voice. It's softly providing you with regular upgrades. Pay attention to those little signs and synchronicities and act on them. Now understand, the hard drive or subconscious is waiting to propel you forward to your greater good. It knows the agreements you made before you even came into human form. It knows how to get you to them in the most quick way as possible. But perhaps you've been ignoring this inner guidance system. You've ignored those little routine pop-ups. Recently, my computer sent a message that said I needed to upgrade to a higher level of Windows. I thought my Windows were high enough. So I kept on ignoring the request. I thought it would just take too much time. So I put it off. And just like in life, when we ignore what will bring us to a new level of growth, it can come back to bite us. Because a few weeks later, right in the middle of teaching a class, my entire computer decides to shut down right then and there on its own. I didn't even think that was legal. It sent a message that the upgrade would take about 20 minutes. I had to stop and make a new plan. So too in life, have you ever felt like you've had things all laid out the way you wanted them? You knew your routines, what you wanted to experience, and you definitely didn't feel like you needed to do any change or growth. All of a sudden, your spiritual hard drive self is tired of you ignoring some of those life agreements that it knows that you need to go through. It knows the steps and shortcuts that will take you to your greater good. It also knows that you have a lot of junk and spam that you've been afraid to let go of. You're holding on to stuff that's making an upgrade possible. You were not meant to be stagnant in life, leaving your comfort zone, or never leaving your comfort zone. So while we have free will, this universal intelligence or hard drive is always rearranging life events to bring us to where we need to be. A greater level of expression. Maybe it's a health condition, a loss of a relationship, or a change in an environment. People who have had near-death experiences often report this when they share it later, that they got a major life reboot. They were reminded of why they came into human form, and they saw that they had gotten off track, and they felt like they got a second chance by going through that experience. You might initially see your upgrade as positive. Oh, wait, you might not see it as positive. And so it's important not just to react when it happens, because sometimes we just like to label things as good or bad. The universe is always guiding you to that next right experience. So whether we recognize it or not, the consciousness upgrades can come. and we can sometimes take a while to see their hidden gifts. Neville Goddard also writes in Your Faith is Your Fortune, quote, "If you judge after appearances, you will continue to be enslaved by the evidence of your senses." Wow, think about that, enslaved by our senses, what we're seeing out there. The last key to point out is enter or send, right there. Now, I know that when I push this, I have confidence that my email or whatever project I was working on will be sent and or complete. I don't keep clicking send and doubting it. I trust that all the electronic impulses that need to occur will quickly happen. I don't need to know the intricacies of how this happens, as clearly I proved today. It's beyond my level of comprehension. But like when I'm sending pictures or money across the planet, I press send and confidently walk away. This is also the final step of our treatment. When we say, "and so it is," we add that conviction that the universe has got this. Now, I've covered a lot today, so in a quick review, I want to just share with you the main points. First of all, turn on your power, or recognize there is a greater source. Shift your perspective upwards. Realize the illusion of the control key. Press the F key as often as needed. Escape only when you're okay with who you're escaping with. Use the space bar to separate your actions and thoughts in a mindful, deliberate way. Recognize your inseparable connection to the internet and specify what you want. Don't give energy to what you don't want. That's why I always accept cookies and don't eat spam. Update your consciousness on a regular basis before it gets upgraded for you. When you finally push send, release and let go. Trust this universal hard drive. The Zen have a saying, "Leap and the net will appear." I want to expand on that and say, close your eyes, the internet, and your upgrade is right here. Thank you for listening. And by way of introducing the video, I just want to remind everybody that yesterday was International Women's Day, and I hope we never have a mute key that keeps our future generation or women silent about important ideas. So thank you, Scarlett. Go ahead and play it.
Here comes a wave meant to wash me away, a tide that has taken me under, swallowing sand left with nothing to say, my voice drowned out in the thunder. But I won't cry, and I won't start to crumble, whenever they try to shut me or cut me down. I won't be silenced, you can't keep me quiet, won't tremble when you try it, all I know is I won't go speechless. 'Cause I'll breathe when they try to suffocate me, don't you underestimate me, 'cause I know that I won't go speechless. Written in stone, every rule, every word, centuries old and
that beautiful? Thanks to Aladdin movie. And now, Dallas, I invite you to come back up. Let's welcome Dallas.
Hello again. This is the first time that I've ever been able to do one of these Sundays with Lisa, and that was incredible. I recently got my first job with my accounting degree. I'm a tax collator at Vincent Financial, and uh, uh, there's still some things on the the keyboard that I don't know, and that was that was actually really insightful. But also because today I didn't really know what to play, and I felt to me upgrading my conscience was just the first thing that came to my mind was growth, not just physical growth, but emotional, fundamental growth. And this is the song that I listen to when I want to feel that. The song is called Unity. I found a note with your name and a picture of us, even though it was framed and covered in dust. It's the map in my mind that sends me on my way. They say it's never too late to stop being afraid. There is no one else here, so why should I wait? And in the blink of an eye, the past begins to fade. So have you ever been caught in a sea of despair, and your moment of truth was the day that you say you're not scared? Put your hands in the air if you hear me out there. I've been looking for you day and night. Shine a light in the dark, let me see where you are, 'cause I'm not gonna leave you behind. If I told you that you're not alone, and I show you this is where you belong, put your hands in the air one more time. I've seen a million miles, met a million faces, took all I knew to reach all these places, and I'd do it again if it brought me back to you. So have you ever been caught in a sea of despair, and your moment of truth was the day that you say you're not scared? Put your hands in the air if you hear me out there. I've been looking for you day and night. Shine a light in the dark, let me see where you are, 'cause I'm not gonna leave you behind. If I told you that you're not alone, and I show you this is where you belong, put your hands in the air one more time. out there. I've been looking for you day and night. Shine a light in the dark, let me see where you are, 'cause I'm not gonna leave you behind. If I told you that you're not alone, and I show you this is where you belong, put your hands in the air one more time. Put your hands in the air one more time.
Sing it as that extra spark. Now it's the time for our time of giving, the offertory. So can we have the affirmation slide? Now I know a lot of people give online. We also have boxes in the foyer and in Loftus Hall that if you want to put your donation in, you can. And so it has little hearts on the boxes. So let's go ahead and say the affirmation together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I give, all that I have, and all that I receive. And so it is. I always feel so much more abundant after that. Reverend Eileen Benson. Oh, they said Benson. Did you guys change things? Reverend Eileen, I think Brownell, will be speaking on sacred pots, but it does say Benson on here. James, just saying. And please join us for Books and Bistro after the service. There's some yummy treats out there. It was so cool. I saw fish and chips not made out of real fish. And I think that's very creative. So thank you. Whoever arranged, oh, Nancy. Where is Nancy? Oh, already left. Well, go thank Nancy when you see her. And now the song leaders to come back up for the Karen Drucker song.